If you are in the stream, let me know if you can hear me in the chat. What up, people? It is Knoxville Nationals Saturday. We've also got the North-South 100 going on tonight at Florence. I am messaging a few people right now, working on a couple folks to maybe stop by and talk about some racing stuff with us. If you are currently watching the stream and maybe you're a racing person and you would like to join, drop me a DM on social media. Yeah. So got a couple messages out. We'll see who I can get in here first. Waiting on one person to take a shower. Yeah. Bill asks if I am making a trip to Knoxville. I am not going to be there today. I am still sitting in my house in North Carolina. This was my last week of grad school, so I was not going to make it to Knoxville, or my last week of my grad school term, so I was not going to make it to Knoxville this year, which I knew in advance. So, lots of things to talk about, lots of things to get into. I'm seeing people already asking about McKenna Hassey. Sounds like she is still in a Knoxville area hospital after her nasty crash last night. So hopefully she is going to be okay. I have not used this specific platform to bring in. No, actually I did. We used this one with Blake. So we are going to try some stuff here. So we'll see who we can get to stop by. Maybe some media people, maybe some drivers. Let me know in the chat where you are tuning in from. We are currently live on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. Whatever you are into is where we are. So lots of options to watch. But yeah, let me know in the chat where you are tuning in from currently. Like I said, busy day. Lots of stuff going on today in the dirt racing world. Donnie Schatz, your Hard Knocks winner on Friday night in a wild turn of events that saw him also almost not make the main event. He got lucky that Jack Dover did not go to the scales, or he would have been buried in a B main. But instead, because he was quick time, he was able to start on the pole of the feature, which he then took to the win and guaranteed himself a starting spot into the Knoxville Nationals. So he is locked in for tonight. I think I heard Johnny Gibson say his 25th Knoxville Nationals main event appearance. He also locked in with Logan Schuchart, Justin Henderson, and Emerson Axum. So big shout out to Emerson Axum for making his first Knoxville Nationals. Okay, so now I have to figure out how to send some invites. Okay, so let me figure this out here. Anyway, let me know in the chat, who are you surprised about that's in the Nationals main event, and who are you surprised about that's not locked in at the moment? I would be curious to know those guys that surprised you this year. Can I just get this in here? Here's a little bit of information on McKenna Hassey if you are curious. Struggling here with see if that works. There we go. I'm seeing some questions. Let's see. Here's Ryan. Ryan says he is surprised that Boguski is in and surprised that Brad Sweet is out. Certainly an interesting turn of events. Boguski, though, in for, I believe, the second straight year. This one surprises me as well. Obviously, you know, Baylog has certainly shown speed, but definitely surprised that Gravel is out, which I'm sure we're not the only ones who are surprised about that. All right, I am working on our potentially first guest. Hopefully he is able to figure it out. Let me pull up the list of starting positions for tonight. Scroll down the Knoxville Twitter here. Rich wants to know where Corey Day is. Corey is starting inside row 6 tonight. Baylog and Brad Sweet are surprises for Sam. Ooh, we have our first guest. We're just gonna add him. Are you guys ready for a guest? 193 people. Wonder if I can. We'll just add him. Zachary,
what's going on?
What's up, man? Where are you at right now?
Out in the boonies, like where my shop and apartment is in Knoxville. So like 5-6 minutes out of town.
Nice. If people in the chat don't know who this is sprint car driver Zach Hampton, who, if you pay attention to the Dirt Tracker YouTube channel, you've certainly seen Zach build a sprint car in various forms. So how are we feeling about today?
Good. I'm happy. I mean, this is definitely my best nationals, but I'm a little disappointed with where we're at. I think we had the speed to be better. Just needed a few more things to go right and make a few less mistakes. But I don't know. We'll try to go forward in the sea, and it's gonna be tough. But I think if we can pass some cars, I'll be happy, even if we're not able to transfer.
What do you feel like you could have done different the last couple of nights?
I I think we missed, like on our prelim night, the setup kind of after qualifying for the heat race. And I caught a right rear going into one. And luckily I was able to save it or not get into the wall. But it kind of just, you kind of usually need a lap after something like that, or a caution to kind of regather yourself. And with guys like, Larson and stuff like that behind you, and then you're on defense mode. It's just hard to get back collected and get up to the transfer. And then, the B main on our prelim night, we started, I want to say sixth, and we got the car really good. I just made bad decisions the first 2 or 3, 4 laps. Fell back a couple spots, and then once I kind of got it working, I got those spots back, and I think we were, a lap or 2 away from getting Eliason for the final transfer, and that would have just been totally different. Just getting into the show on our prelim from even out of the B, if we were in 16th or 17th, nothing spectacular, we probably would be in the back of the B today, and not had to race tomorrow. So just a consistent thing. I mean, everybody obviously wants that, but even more for a guy like me who's ran, I think maybe last night was my 17th race this year. And, most of these other guys I'm racing around have ran 40, 50. I'm sure there's a few guys that are close to 60 at this point in the year. So just a consistency thing, on the track and getting the car set up, just making the right calls every time you're on the racetrack.
What how do you feel about the the racetrack? Like, has it been similar to what you race on there weekly? Has it been different?
No, I mean, we've seen tracks like this, once or twice, but like the prelim nights were wet, like way, way wet. Like in the B main on my prelim night, which usually by B main, like the track should be pretty worn, like 2 grooves. You shouldn't be able to be wide open. I mean, like, it's just when the track's that fast, there's not going to be much passing. And like in the B main Thursday night, like I was wide open. I mean, I would use some brake, but like 1 and 2, I could just be wide open in the middle. So, I mean, I think it was way too wet. Last night, I think the track was a lot better. I think you're not going to see a whole lot of passing, even when there is 2 lanes come nationals time, when there's 24 cars on the track in the A main, and honestly, going into the night, 20 of them could win. So everyone's just so close that you're not going to see tons of passing. But I think on the prelim nights, the track could have been better. I think Cappy was the best track we've had all week. Obviously, more race cars run that night, so that helps. And running this many nights, I don't know if you have to get the track more wet to help it through the week. I don't know about track prep. I don't know how to do that. But I think it's been okay.
What did I see that Moonshine's helping you out?
Yeah. He came out last year, and he actually was out here for the 2-day Outlaw show. So I grew up with him and Tyler, like, probably since I was 6 or 7, and just always been friends. And he likes to come to nationals and likes to help me. So, I mean, they've actually both drove my race cars over the years. Micros, I don't know if they ever drove the midget. They both drove, well, it would have been, at the time I was probably 12. So my dad's micros, they drove a handful of times. So, yeah, he just enjoys to come out and help, and then he gets to be here for the week, and it's fun.
Who else is helping you out this week?
So I've got, his name is Marty. He actually does like the radio or the communication stuff for the track. He's helped me all year. Like, he's the only guy that I've had every night. He's good help. He doesn't know a ton. So like, he usually puts fuel in the car, like make sure there's the tires and bleeders are set, and then like helps push me back. And then, I've got one of my sponsors out here this week. And my buddy just got here last night. He works for Brown and Miller Racing Solutions in Indy, but he had just moved from Wisconsin a few months ago, and he rents my spare room at my house back home in Indy. So he'll be out here for today. And then like Mark Birch came and helped me out Thursday night, since their qualifying night was Wednesday. So it's a good thing about nationals. I think pretty much everybody has a good amount of help. I think really, everybody's kind of got to turn some down because there's just so many people out here and everybody wants to help while they're here. But it gets to a point where it's just too crowded.
What's your day look like today?
We are going to head back to the track here in, 20, 30 minutes and get unloaded out of the trailer and then get loaded up onto the open trailer. And then I think gates open at like 2-ish. So we'll get inside and kind of get settled, and then we'll probably all go back to like the camper. I'll go back to my trailer, and we'll try to get out of the heat for a little bit before we go back down into the track. Probably around 5, and get the engine heaters on and see what we can do.
What did you do on your off prelim night? Did you help out somebody else?
Yeah, I would say I kind of helped a little bit of everybody, or I walked around. I watched from the infield, and I helped Don Joe Jr. and Birch a little bit. They've got, plenty of guys, so I just kind of scraped mud when the car would come in and then, try to stay out of the way. So I tried to watch the racetrack as much as I could. I mean, you're usually they try to make the track as close as they can for the prelim nights, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise. I think they try to make them both the same. So tried to watch a lot of that. And just kind of bounce around and see what people are doing, what's working or not working, and just kind of get in the right headspace for my prelim the next night.
What do you who do you think is going to win tonight? Do you think it's Larson just drives away with this thing?
I don't know. I don't think it's that easy. I think he's probably got the best shot. No matter who's on the pole, usually does. I think Gio looked really, really good on his prelim. I don't think anyone should count him out. He's won the 360 Nationals, which isn't quite the same, but it's kind of the same. You look at the list of winners, and a lot of guys who have won the 410 have also won the 360. So he knows how to get around here, and they looked really good Wednesday night. So I don't know. I would say if I had favorites, it would be those two. Rico, obviously, has been really good here all year and years past. And I think Sunshine's capable. I think it'll be. I don't know. I wouldn't put him quite as a favorite, but I think he's a top 5 guy. No matter what, and if things go right, he could. But that's kind of how it goes for everybody. You need things to go your way. 50 laps is a long time. Any one of them could get a flat tire. Who was it? Rico last year got one, running first or second.
Yeah,
I think he got a flat left rear. So it's just a really long race. So there's so many things that could happen, and you could be in third, and next thing you know, the leaders get tangled up with the lap car, and you're sitting in first. So. But I don't know. I don't think Larson runs away. I don't think it's that easy. No matter how good you are, there's a lot of guys just as good as Kyle Larson these days, at least in the sprint cars.
What do you think about, obviously we've got Gravel, Brad Sweet, Peck, some of these guys, McFadden, that are in a B. Do you think it's possible for them to drive from the B to the win tonight? Obviously, we've seen Donnie Schatz do that before, but do you think with this field
we've
and
seen
the way
Donnie
the track
Schatz
is?
I don't know. If the track's like last night or Cappy, yeah, I think it's possible. But I don't know. Gravel's run last year, whatever that was, 21st, 23rd to second. Literally, absolutely everything went right. He caught cautions. I think most of the cars he passed were on restarts. It just all kind of fell. I don't want to say it just fell in his lap, because obviously that took a ton of talent to do regardless, but nothing went wrong. He didn't get a huge green flag run where he got stuck behind 2 or 3 guys giving him dirty air. So it's tough to say. The way Donnie's looked this week, I don't see Donnie doing it. but you never know. It's Donnie. Like they could get it fixed and he could do it, but he has not looked that good this week. I mean, even last night, like he was not going to make the Nationals this year, and what Dover, forgot to go to the scales, and now Donnie was on the pole, and kind of hard to count him out from there. But like, if he doesn't do that, he's going to start 21st, 22nd, 23rd last night in the feature, and he wasn't driving to the front. Like he was good enough to maintain up there, but I don't think he was good enough to drive up there last night. And if he would have finished 10th, he's buried in a B, and then it's the same thing all over again. You're starting 20th. I get with 19 or 23 other really, really good race car drivers. It's just not like, it's usually not possible unless things go right.
Yeah. You're starting 16th tonight. You've got 15 laps. Like, how far do you think you could get up into the C in that time?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I haven't looked. I mean, I looked at where we are, and but I haven't really like looked at who's around me, and like I usually pay attention to a lot of that. I mean, I feel like I usually have a pretty good idea of where guys are going to go or do on the starts, and I can usually get a good start. So I think it's going to come down to that. I mean, if I get a bad start and I'm 16th coming out of 2, I would say 12th or 13th is probably as good as it's going to get if there's no cautions or wrecks. But if I can get a good start, and kind of see the C's part ways, and I come out in 11th or 12th or 10th come out of 2 there, then I think I could potentially get up to 6th, 7th, 8th. It's so much of it's that initial start, or if it's not a Knoxville race, if it's high limit or outlaw, like double file starts, you can just gain so much more ground. I think every restart should be double file in sprint car racing. I think single file, I screw the 1-inch wicker. If you want to make sprint car racing better, do double file restarts. Makes it so much better.
Yeah.
I was looking at the spread out.
I was looking at the heat race like statistics the other day, and it looks like if you start on the outside, you have a fairly significant advantage. Is that just because you can keep the momentum up on the top?
Yes and no. So Knoxville is like so tricky. Any other track in the country, I prefer to start on the inside lane, because if you watch a start almost anywhere else, but like especially a Port Royal, you see guys enter, like the lead car will enter in the middle, and then when they fire, they're not down to the bottom of the racetrack. There's a lane down there. So if you start 19th and you're watching the leader, not the guy in front of you, you can usually pick up 2 or 3 rows. Just by the second the leader's nose twitches, you pull out a line and go. Knoxville, there is that with the berm, everyone gets tucked up to it, down to the moisture. You can't go under. And you can't go up, because then you're in the slick. So like the outside lane guy has more options. He can stand on it and get to the curb. Or if the guy in front of him does that, he can kind of pick the middle. And I just feel like on the inside lane, you're trapped up against that berm. You either have a car right to your right side or slick, and you just don't have any options. Unless, a guy spins his tires, or you get like a really good start and can maybe get under him at the flag stand, but it's just so hard to do.
Yeah. Well, I will let you go. I appreciate you taking a few minutes. You have some more video content coming for us. You want to give us a little preview of what you got?
Yeah. So it's the seat from, I put it in the same car from the Dirt Tracker video, and I went over. I didn't go over like all the driver safety stuff, like or suit or helmet or whatever, but like stuff regarding to like basically the cockpit, so belt, seat spacers. Sharp Advantage has got a new spacer kit, and I kind of helped him make like the biggest thing was like kind of a shim for the angle of the seat, and it worked out really nice. A knee guard and just some stuff like that. So like kind of just cockpit driver safety stuff and what some drivers need or don't need or like or don't like. So I think it's pretty good, but I think it was like 41 minutes, the raw footage. So yeah, hopefully there's some insight in that. But just gives everybody a good look at the easiest 4 bolts in a sprint car to take out.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Good luck tonight, and thanks for taking a few minutes for us. We'll get you out of here. But everybody in the chat, everybody say hi to Zach and wish him good luck. And we'll see you later, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, Zach Hampton, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Zach is starting 16th in a C main tonight. I'm actually talking to a few other drivers at the moment, trying to get a couple of things set up for some other people to stop by. I'm also got maybe a few media people who we can get in here. If you missed daily shows this week, I know the Sammy Swindell car has been a hot topic with the coilovers. We did the Thursday daily show about that, so go check that out. A bunch of pictures in there. And then we talked earlier in the week about Larson's exhaust, which has also been a topic of discussion. The kind of turned up pipes, and since they put that on the car, it's certainly been a lot faster, it seems. So. If you just got on here, drop me a message in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Got a couple hundred people tuned in right now, which is pretty freaking cool. Let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat. Jeffrey says Zach was looking good in his sunglasses, for sure. If you've seen the Zach videos on the Dirt Tracker channel, that shop that he was working in was his shop near Indy, but he is living this year in the Knoxville area. So as you watched him walk around outside, that's his shop in the Knoxville area. As he's been running Knoxville weekly this season. We should hopefully have my next guest here in just a couple of minutes. If you are curious right now, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So plenty of options to watch. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're on Facebook, follow the channel or follow the page. If you are on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll have our next guest here shortly. Lots of you guys from all over the country. Rich is from Bend, Oregon. Fellow Oregonian here. Not in Oregon right now, but. Doug Moore is just down the road from me in South Carolina. Hi, Doug. Yeah, Scott, this is my Homer hat for sure. The shill lid. We have our next guest is on the line here. We're just gonna throw him in here again. We're just gonna throw people in here. Chase Rodman, announcer for High Limit.
How we doing?
What are you doing right now, bud?
I got a coffee in my hand.
Okay.
I'm trying to. I don't know. I'm just trying to survive out here, man. It's been a long week so far.
Have you been getting any sleep?
No, that's the thing is I'm trying to get this coffee. I might need 2 more after this, but
okay, that's fair.
Average bedtime on the week, probably about 3 a.m. so far. So, there's probably guys that are worse off than me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're not feeling too good right now. The voice is absolutely smoked. But we're having fun. Here,
okay.
Let me see if how do I turn my camera on this deal? Is that a way to do that? Here, I'll do this. So here we are. We got the Sheldon Hodgshield shot back here.
Oh, perfect.
We got Danny Dietrich back here. Chris Martin, a couple guys. This is like right outside of our camper right now where we're staying at. So, yeah, it's been a fun week so far.
What's been the nightly plan? Are we dingusing it? Are we just in the campground? Like, what's happening?
So no dingus after Tuesday because it just gets too crazy in there.
Okay.
A lot of the maximum occupancy is definitely, it's definitely hit the maximum for sure after Tuesday night. So we stay
like we're calling the fire marshal type deal.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know how they don't get shut down. It's actually impressive. But we go to 3 and 4 Sides Bar and Grill. That's kind of where we all hang out. Last night or I don't know. Last night I did not go out because it was like 52 degrees outside.
It was cold.
And we didn't get done until midnight. I don't know what happened, but midnight last night was a very late racing, curtain call there. But, Sides Bar Grill had some dirty rice the other night with chicken, some tacos, and just kind of some good times hanging out by, the old Sides trailer. But after the race, I've been doing my how was your night videos on YouTube and having to edit those. So it's not like I go straight to the party. I just I go back to our camper where we're staying at and edit those and then go out. So it's been a fun week so far, and we obviously got one more night to go here. It's the most important night. So how's it been launching from back home?
It's been great. I actually was going to ask you about your videos. It seems like you've kind of landed on a little bit of a format here. You've got some pretty good views on those. I kind of like it.
Yeah, this morning I just hit my first ever 10,000 view video. So,
that's sick.
And I couldn't believe it because it was the one with just introducing the starting lineup for the race tonight. And I thought that one would do okay. But I woke up this morning at like 6 or 7 a.m. and it was at like 8,000 views. I was like amazed. I couldn't believe it. So awesome. If there's any of my viewers watching right now, thank you guys so much. It's been pretty cool. So it's been fun. And then the How Was Your Night videos have been cool too. Kind of a little bit of a different way to, talk to drivers. It's not like a very in-depth thing. Some guys give me 10 seconds. Some guys give me 40 seconds. So it's been interesting.
Yeah, I like it. How have you thought about how the racing has been so far? Like, who are you surprised about, who's in, who's out kind of thing?
Well, I think the biggest surprise of anybody has been Brady Bacon. I cannot believe that he's in the Knoxville Nationals main. Obviously, he's no slouch. I know that, but I don't think anybody had him on their list to make the show. He probably broke a lot of brackets. And who was the other one that was kind of a surprise? Oh, Bill Baylock. I think Baylock was a huge surprise as well. But come to find out that he's got Aaron Reitzel's former crew chief helping him this week, Graham Boyum. So it's been a pretty big deal for him. I mean, he looked extremely good that night on his prelim night, leading a bunch of laps. But those two, I think, have been the biggest surprises. I think a lot of people might be surprised by Emerson Axum, but I kind of, I made a video earlier this week talking about my 24 feature starters, and I had him in before a lot of guys. I thought he was going to be a surefire lock, and, he starts dead last, but he's still in the show. The thing with him, man, though, it's like, I feel like he just doesn't even care. He's like, He's in the show, and it's just like he couldn't care less, but, that's just his personality, I guess.
He's so laid back. It might honestly be one of his strengths that he's so laid back about everything.
Yeah, I feel like he just doesn't really have any expectations. But then at the same time, if he did make it and he doesn't win, then he's kind of mad. You could tell. But I think he should be happy to just make 15 grand. Last night just making the show. So he's got to be he's going to be a kid to watch for a really long time. I keep hearing some rumors about him and next year and things like that. So. It's been fun this week, man. The track, I was a little worried Wednesday. The track wasn't the best, and I mentioned this in one of my videos that if you're going to have this invert, right, the 8-car invert in the heat races, the track in the heat races has got to be better than what it was on Wednesday. There was no bottom. You couldn't pass anybody. It was, ring around the top the whole time. But then they figured it out, Thursday, and I feel like Friday, the track was really, really good. So I'm hoping they can get that same, A-main track from Thursday night when Larson and Rico battled. I think if they can get that for Saturday, tonight, obviously, then the 50 lapper should be pretty darn good.
What do you think about guys coming out of this B? Obviously, I feel like Gravel and Sweet are the two, but, we've seen Donnie Schatz do that before. Can these guys come through the B and actually win this thing?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I think Gravel, I don't know about Brad Sweet being a guy that can come through the B and win. I just don't think he really has that speed right now. He's obviously been off for a little bit here, and when we say off, he's running fourth, or third. He hasn't won a race in almost 3 months, but I don't really see Brad Sweet being a factor to win tonight. I can see David Gravel coming through from the B main and getting up there and being in the top 5 along with Donnie Schatz. He's won the race from 21st before, and that's where he starts tonight. So, it's gonna be interesting. That B main is gonna be cutthroat, man. I think I feel like I can't remember the lineup off the top of my head right now, but I know that Brad's right there and David's right there in the first 3 rows. I think those two are surefire locks to make it in. And then after that, I mean, McFadden's right there, right? Like Corey Eliason's right there. But there's nobody I could point at and say, okay, he's going to have one of those spots. He's going to have one of those spots. Brad and David are the only two that I can think of right now. So could see maybe another guy make his first ever Nationals feature later on tonight, which is always really cool.
What do you think about the win pick tonight? Is Larson going to run away with this thing? Can Pittman make a run? Could we see Gio or Macri win this thing? What do you think?
Yeah, I think, obviously it's Larson versus the field right now. I really do think that if Darren can get the jump on Kyle, or if he can, get by him in the first lap or two, I don't know why, but I feel like the Kreitz 69K is just one of the best cars in clean air. Like, I know it's crazy to say because everybody's car is great in clean air, but that car just seems like when it gets out front, it is so hard to beat in that clean air. And I think that Darren is obviously, it's his 19th ever Nationals main event start. He doesn't really have any pressure, I feel like, right, to go out and win. I'm sure they're just happy to be on the front row. They're happy to be in the show, right? So I think he's going to be driving with no pressure on his head. Obviously, would really be a great way for him to win the Nationals would be, after he quote unquote retired. I didn't do it, but I think that Darren has the speed to hold Kyle off, especially if the bottom's good. But the other guys that I'm looking at that have the same speed or could, challenge Kyle have to be Gio. He looked good on his prelim night. I think Rico's good. I think Sunshine's good. And then after that, I just don't really know if anybody else has the same raw speed that the 57 car does. I'm excited to see what Donnie can do and David can do. Yeah, I think if those guys are around 10th to 12th or 8th to 10th by the halfway break, that would be insane. If Johnny was 8th or 10th by the halfway break, then they might have something to say if they can get a couple timely cautions. But those couple guys I mentioned a minute ago, I think that they do have a chance to maintain the pace of the Silva 57.
This is your kind of first year at Knoxville now as the voice of High Limit. What is the vibes, the reception? How has it been with, kind of the High Limit Outlaw stuff and just kind of your own, are people approaching you now more because they know who you are? What's that been like?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people say, that, good job and it's been fun to listen to you and all that stuff this week. Honestly, I feel like it's a little bit less than last year because I'm not in front of the camera as much as I am, like I used to be. And which is fine. I don't need people coming up and saying hi to me and all that stuff. And, I'm not that kind of guy, but it's still cool to hear people that, are supporting me. And I know obviously it's been only 30 races in and I got a lot more to learn and I got a lot more to, fix on my side of things and all that. But it's definitely been cool to hear all the positive vibes and stuff. So as far as like the rivalry and quote unquote rivalry with the Outlaws and High Limit, I feel like it's just not quite as prevalent as it was at like the Kings Royal. I don't know why the Kings Royal felt way more like the rivalry felt way more like present, I feel like. But Rico was trying to stir it up earlier this week with his little video from Friday Night Lights, so that was cool. But so far I feel like it's been pretty tame, but I am curious to see the ratio from how many High Limit guys are in the feature tonight versus how many Outlaw guys are in the feature tonight. And if one of the High Limit guys can win, that's a split of the first two, crown jewels. Obviously, the Outlaws got the Kings Royal, and I think it'd be pretty crazy if one of the High Limit guys got the Knoxville Nationals. So we'll wait and see how it plays out. But I think that right now you got a lot of High Limit guys starting towards the front. So, and then I feel like, you look at the B main, there could be 3 out of the 4 transfers be High Limit guys with how the lineup is right now. So High Limit might take down the win when it comes to the most cars in the show.
For sure. What are your plans for tonight? Where are you going to watch from? Are you going to be up in the suites? Are you going to be in the infield? What do you think?
No, so I've been on the backstretch all week long. Our buddy Kevin O'Sullivan, he's the car owner, main sponsor for Gage Montgomery, who runs in Missouri. He got us some tickets on the backstretch. So been hanging out over there all night. Section Q, I believe. Pretty good seats. I've never sat in the grandstand to watch a race in Knoxville prior to this week. Obviously, I've been working the last couple of years. So it's been definitely an interesting view because, man, in the infield here, you can't see anything. Like, it kind of sucks, honestly, to watch from the infield in Knoxville. You just cannot see what's going on. Obviously, it's super important to, watch how these guys get around this racetrack because it's so line dependent, man. And you could tell if some guy misses the bottom or whatever, you could visually see that he's losing a ton of ground, right? So it's been fun to watch it from the outside. It's probably, I told this to, I think, Danny Dietrich last night that, this isn't my favorite racetrack for the racing. Like, it's not my favorite. It's not the most exciting, I think. But I will agree that it has to be the hardest track to make laps around, especially in the feature. It's just so line dependent. Obviously, you got cars around you, the arrow and things like that. So I respect anybody that can get around this racetrack fast. Like I said, it's not my favorite racetrack ever for the racing part of it, but it's got my respect for just getting around the track quickly, because it is easily the trickiest place to drive around from the sounds of it. Obviously, I'm no driver, but from what everybody tells me, it's got to be one of the toughest places to get around.
What are your thoughts on the format stuff? It seems like that's been a little bit of a topic of a discussion this week with the heat race inverts and all of that. I love the 8-car invert. I love that you got to drive your ass off, but what are your thoughts on that?
I like it too. I like the 8-car invert too. I do. The one thing I will say is, like I mentioned it a little bit ago, as long as you have an 8-car invert, the track has to be good enough for these guys to get through. If it's one lane around the top, like, nobody's going to pass anybody, especially when, this 8-car invert, a couple years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, the guys that were on the front row, they didn't have the equipment that, Shots and Gravel and Sweet and these guys have. Now I feel like a guy that starts, on the front row of these 8-car inverts, man, he's no slouch. I mean, these guys got the same equipment as those guys coming from row 4, and they can hang on for 8 or 10 laps. I mean, we saw it a couple times this week. I mean, I'm trying to remember back, I don't remember all the heat race winners, but there was guys that started on the front row and they stayed there. Like Christopher Traum is one of them, and Cale Thomas, and there's a couple other guys I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But the times have changed where you're going to have a guy that is a couple tenths off the pace in qualifying, and then he's not going to be able to maintain his position in the heat race. Right? These guys are good enough now. Their cars and their engines are good enough now to where they can get around the track for 8 laps and hang on from the front row. And so the 8-car invert makes it even harder, right? I mean, we saw it on Wednesday. There was a ton of guys that had to go to the B main. And then on Thursday, the track got better. And so they were able to make moves. But I hope you understand what I'm saying by, I mean, these guys that start front row, man, they've got the same exact equipment damn near as the Outlaw and High Limit guys. And they're good enough drivers to hang on for 8 laps.
Yeah. Well, Chase, I appreciate you giving us a few minutes. We've got like 300-400 people in here right now. Give me the sales pitch for the Rodman Rundown YouTube channel.
Well, the sales pitch, there ain't much of a sales pitch. I mean, if you do not like technology for some reason, which I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but we are the lowest tech sprint car. I don't know if news is the right thing, but we just talk all things sprint cars on the Rodman Rundown. And it's all used with a whiteboard, right? Like you used in school. Maybe some of you guys are old enough to, there's a chalkboard back then, but we use a whiteboard. We've got magnets for the numbers of the drivers and things like that we use. And we just talk all things sprint car racing. And I'm really bad at math. So if you like to make fun of people that don't know how to do math, then you can go on my comment section and make fun of me. I've already had a couple of instances this week where I just can't add or multiply or divide or anything. PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I always forget that one, right? So, we suck at math, but it's a whiteboard. It's just my phone. It's a tripod, a phone, and a whiteboard. That's all we've got. We got no fancy equipment. We got microphones. I got them for $6 off Temu. So I'm not kidding. They're Temu microphones. James McFadden actually dropped one on the ground the other night during our How Was Your Night segment, and he was so upset that he dropped it. I was like, dude, it was literally $6 on Temu. Don't worry, it's fine. So that's basically the sales pitch for the Rodman Rundown. I would appreciate your subscription. It's been going pretty well this week. Been having fun with it. So that's all it is, man. We're just having fun, right? So but Justin, thanks for having me on here, man. I'm gonna go back in the camper here and try and, I'm going to put a video together, but I'm going to try and rest up a little bit more for one more night of action here in Knoxville.
Yeah, you might need an afternoon nap here just to get yourself through.
That's been like the daily routine almost is, wake up, take a shower, make a video, and then go back to sleep until about, 5 or 6, go get lunch, dinner, and then head out to the track. So we're going to keep on that routine today.
I love it. All right. Well, High Limits, Chase Rodman. Thanks for the time, dude.
All right. See you guys.
All righty. Guest number 2 in the books. Let's see what we're talking about in the chat here in between. We're kind of, we could potentially maybe roll right into the next guest. I need to send a little linky link here. All right, what are you guys talking about here in the chat? Steve thinks Macri could be a guy to watch tonight. You know, Mooney will have that thing tuned up for sure. Oh, yeah. If you are curious about Chase's YouTube channel, you can find him. He is at the Rodman Rundown. So go on YouTube. Chase puts out sprint car videos all the time. Definitely go hit him up, subscribe to his stuff. He's been doing a really good job here lately. All right, let me send a link here to another guest. This will be another driver. Yeah, he's got to stay low tech. The whiteboard is the way to go. That's what he does. I dig it. I like that he like rides around in minivans and does videos. For sure. I'm a big fan of that. I can't believe we've been live for almost an hour already. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. We should hopefully have our next guest here shortly. The link has been sent. This will be another driver. And he is here. We're just going to throw him in.
Oh, shoot.
What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going? 1 second. Let me get you connected to my speakers.
Okay.
Or my earbuds. Well, that's weird. Take one of these.
Are you good?
Tell Lauren that he can't walk away with those. Okay, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kelby Watt.
There you go.
Where are you at right now, bro?
I am in Terry Ford's trailer in the O'Reilly parking lot signing autographs. How's it going, man? Hey.
Good. You got a line here? Let me see this line that you got signing autographs for.
I don't have a line right now, but let me see if I can flip the cam. Oops, that's off. Where's the cam flip? Anyways, here. I don't have a line right now, but there were some people that just stopped by. There's Terry over there.
Nice.
So yeah, we're trying to sell some merchandise. I finally am like actually getting my merchandise game going. So
nice. Well, you've had a little bit of an interesting week, huh?
Yeah, it's been a crazy week for me. It's been hectic. So
how are you feeling about how things have gone? You're starting tonight in a D main, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. It hasn't been the best run so far this week. Honestly, I've been kind of struggling more this week than I have all year long, and just kind of struggled to get the momentum going and get smooth all week. And I don't know. We tried a few things on the car last night, kind of some big swings on some stuff, and it didn't really work out the way that I was hoping. So, but stuff to learn from, and we kind of figured we struggled the first night, so we wanted to try something a little different and kind of go for it, and the risk kind of didn't pay off, so now we're kind of stuck in the back, but I'm still looking forward to tonight, just looking forward to getting laps and hopefully moving forward.
So you start out the week thinking you're going to drive the Bill Rose 6, and then things go crazy there, and then you got to roll your own car out. What has the process been like to get the 1K ready to go this week? Was it sitting there ready, or did you have to go do a bunch of work?
Yeah, it was pretty much ready. My crew chief Woody, he's very involved with our team, and he helped me out a ton even when I was gone at Peevely the past week. So he made the stop out to our shop and kind of finalize some stuff on the car just to have it ready at any moment's notice. Just because, like, if we want to go run a high limit show or something, because with Bill, I was only on the World Outlaw shows. So we kind of had things planned to at least have that thing ready to run whenever we needed. So all that needed to kind of happen was put our engine back in it and run. So
that's good. So what are your expectations for tonight? Can you drive through this thing and get into a transfer spot here? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it's definitely I definitely can make it through the D for sure. Like I'm confident that I'm able to do that. I have the skills and I've got the car. I just need to kind of get things rolling and be comfortable right off the bat in hot laps tonight. And like even the past 2 nights, like our heat races that I've been in and the cars that I've been around, I felt like I could perform better than them typically, and I can be faster. I've just made like little mistakes on that first night, and then yesterday track was pretty narrow and I just never really got a roll going. So I think we'll kind of struggle a little bit with the track being narrow again tonight and kind of having to really pick through traffic. But if I get a good start, I think we'll be on the move.
How do you feel about like how kind of track conditions have been this week? I know Knoxville's a place you've run a lot, but you know, is it what you expected it to be?
It's honestly varied a lot night to night. Like the first preliminary night, it started winding out a lot really early. The track, like time trials, it blew off really fast and stuff. And then the night that we ran, it was similar. It wasn't as bad, but I don't know. It's just varied a lot, I guess, and it's kind of kept everyone up on their toes and really watching the track, seeing what the conditions are. Like last night, it was really heavy, and the colder air, like the dew points, kind of affected the way the track is kind of built through the night. And there's still like slime on the bottom of the track, and that's not super typical of this place in August. So it's kind of been hard for people to navigate entering on the bottom, getting in some of the slime and sliding up. So
what have you felt about the weather? I know it's been a lot cooler than everybody thought. Has that thrown people for a loop, do you think? Yeah,
I think so. I don't know if it's really thrown me for a huge loop or our car. It's just it's affected the track conditions overall. So I don't know if it's really done anything big for like on a tuning standpoint with the engines or anything other than just like everyone making their normal adjustments. But I know just like especially there on the bottom, it's just been super slimy up by the berm, and that's been really tough to kind of. You want to stay off of the berm just enough that you're in the good grip, but then right past that, it gets really slick because this new dirt here at Knoxville, once it gets dry, it gets like very slick this year. So
interesting. What are you thinking about your plans kind of after Knoxville now? Like obviously things kind of changed for a little bit, but have you worked out what you're going to do after this?
I don't have anything nailed down right now. I'm actually kind of just talking to some people this week and trying to get some plans figured out. I've actually had an okay amount of people kind of reach out to me, which is cool because it's kind of what I've been working at all year. I've been trying to get the opportunity to run in someone's car, and then finally I get that opportunity, and now things are kind of opening up for me in my career. So I'm really looking forward to talking to more people here this coming week and trying to figure out something for like the Jackson Nationals or something.
Nice. Tell me about your sponsor stuff this week. I know you're doing a couple of cool sponsor things. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so this week we've got Dirt Draft that came on board, and it's an application you can get on your phone. It's $5 to join. You get a free T-shirt right when you join, and it's like a dirt racing fantasy league. And you join like a fantasy club pretty much every night, and pick 5 drivers within like $100,000 salary cap, and the average driver costs $20,000, and then you compete against a bunch of other fans and see how you stack up at the end of the night with your roster. So it's a pretty cool way for fans to get involved with the racing, not just from sitting and watching at home, but also just, like you feel connected to what's going on the racetrack, and you got multiple people you can watch, and it kind of, if you're a big fan of one driver, now you got 4 other guys to kind of watch as well. So, and then Microlight also is helping us out this week. They're big on the car. They're magnesium mica feed ingredient, so it's an agricultural feed supplement, like bonding agent that's put in like animal food products. So they're helping us out a bunch. Thanks, man. Thank you. So yeah, we got some good partners this week, and everyone else that's been helping me so far this year: KRN and Tanzanite Homes, and Call of Duty Agency, Right Choice Shearing. So got a lot of help with this small family-owned team. So it's pretty cool, and it's pretty cool to have just great crew members as well. Just like I got my neighbor and I got my buddy from college helping us, and my dad, and then Woody, our crew chief. So it's pretty fun to kind of just get back to our roots and just be in a comfortable environment, working out at Woody's shop here in Knoxville. And it feels like we got the band back together, and we're just we haven't had the results this week that would show that, but I think we're all just excited and just comfortable in our our environment that we've been running at with the whole year. So
nice. What is the rest of your day going to look like here? I know you're hanging out right now, signing some autographs. What are you going to do for the rest of the day before you got to get in the car?
Yeah, I'll probably sign autographs here till 2:00. So if anyone's watching and they want to stop by, come down to Terry Ford's trailer in the O'Reilly parking lot. It's right across from the track. So there's a lot of sirens going by right now. A lot of fires or something today, but if you want to support the Knoxville Fire Department, we've actually got Terry's got some Knoxville Fire Department t-shirts here too. I think they've had a pretty busy week, it seems like, so come support them too. But yeah, after this I'll probably help the guys load into the track, kind of make some final touches on the car. We got a lot of stuff done this morning, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable with that. So
good deal. Well, Kelby Watt, I thank you for taking some time with us, and good luck tonight, dude.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. I appreciate it.
Yep, see you.
See ya.
All right, Kelby Watt, ladies and gentlemen. Let me fire off another message here for another guest. All right. So Zach Hampton, Kelby Watt, Chase Rodman so far. Been live here for about an hour. Should hopefully have another one on here shortly. Obviously, looks like it's a beautiful day in the Knoxville area, as you've noticed from the people that we've had on here. Blue skies. Temperatures are a little cooler than we would normally expect for Knoxville, Iowa in August, which is great. Yeah, everybody listen to Kilroy99. Give me those likes, please. Those are always helpful for the videos. Scott wants to know who my pick is tonight. I wouldn't have said this a few days ago, but I think it's Larson. With what we've seen here, I think he's the guy. I think it's, Chase Rodman just said it, right? I think it's Larson in the field. And I think I'm going to go with Larson. I think he's going to be hard to beat off the front row. Wonder who else we could get on. I'm going to fire off some more messages here, see who else we can't get on. Here come all of the messages, all of the requests of people who I should get on. And there is a chat message that I'm going to put on the screen as soon as my next guest is signed in here, which should be any moment. So Once I see that he's available to join, I'm going to hit the show on this message because it's going to be hilarious. While we're waiting for the next guest, make sure to hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Like the Facebook page. Follow on Twitch because we're also live on Twitch right now. There is a Dirt Tracker Twitch. You can catch the daily show 5 days a week. Okay, here we go. He's in. So let me scroll back up here, and I'm going to put this on the screen that says we better not be seeing Jeremy Elliott next. Because the next person that's live with me is Jeremy Elliott. Yes! That worked out so well.
Another satisfied customer.
Hi, Jeremy.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Where are you at right now?
We rent a house about 2 blocks from the track, which is phenomenal. Get work done, and we're kind of sitting here in the living room waiting to head to the track.
Who is we?
Brent Smith, my photographer, one of the best photographers in dirt track racing. He does a great job, and most of the pictures on sprintcarunlimited.com are his. So we're just kind of hanging out. I'm making some chicken in the oven, and then we're going to head to the track.
What's the plan? What time you're going to head over, and what do you got? What do you got on the docket for today?
Well, we have the drivers meeting, the live drivers meeting at 3:00. Being a sponsor, I'm going to do that, and then just hang out. Maybe get a couple videos, maybe a couple stories for actually next week.
Nice. Run me through what you've got on the YouTube channel right now so far that you've done this weekend.
The 90 at 9, of course, every day. Now I didn't, when that came to an end Thursday night, I was pretty happy because of you got to feed 2 beasts. You got to feed the website and of course YouTube. So just a lot of YouTube interviews. Didn't do the deep dive this week. It was too hard to pull together, but we had the 90 at 9 every day, which did very well. And just feeding that, and also sprintcarunlimited.com.
Nice. Just general feelings about what you've seen so far leading into Championship Saturday here.
It's Kyle Larson's race to lose. And it's not, he got through the hardest part, which is qualifying, and he didn't have to worry about that because the pill draw went well. So he's been racing so well. They've found something in main event, racing. He's able to pass cars. He's good in dirty air. He's good out front. As a driver, you couldn't ask for more. When I talked to him the other night, he has so much confidence in the car at this point. And I don't know who is going to be able to catch him. Obviously, you have Darren Pittman, who's looked phenomenal. Probably the best I've ever seen him look at the Nationals. In 2019, he was 3rd, and that was his best finish ever. It's not a place he's really good at, but he looks excellent here this weekend. So there's some guys who can challenge him, but I just think it's Kyle's race to lose.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. What do you think about Pittman in the Kreis car? I'm kind of surprised, and I'm kind of not surprised, honestly.
He fits them. It's like when Lance got in that car. I thought Lance was going to be really good in that car because of his driving style and what Kreis likes to do with the car. And I think Darren's kind of in that same mold. I didn't expect him to be as fast as he was when he went out on and it was perfect on Thursday through the qualifying and the heat race. I didn't expect that, and I think they took it easy in the A-Main. Talking to the crew beforehand, they just didn't want to have any stupid mistakes, didn't want to have anything fall off the car, things like that. So I don't know if Darren pushed it to the limit. So I think he's a little unknown going into tonight because I think there's more speed in that car. I just don't know. If it gets in dirty air, that's where things get a little different for the 69K. So we'll see, but it's been a pleasant surprise. I think I'm calling my shot now. Darren Pittman's going to win the Williams Grove National Open.
Okay.
The days of second are over.
What do you feel like? How do you feel about the shot stuff from last night? Is I know you talked to him, but walk me through how you kind of perceived all of that.
when it happened, when he finished fourth, and before they made the announcement, I said, well, he's not going to make the Nationals this year. No way. No matter what. And then that announcement comes over and you're stunned because it is the weirdest way to put yourself in a good position to possibly, I mean, do I think he's coming from 21st to win tonight? No, I don't. But he saved his Nationals because a guy didn't go to the scales. What are the odds? They're pretty low. So it was weird, and it further added to the weird Nationals that I think we've had at this point. Between Wednesday night was strange with the track and how much it dropped off. It's the most drop off I've ever seen, to just kind of how things have happened. So it was strange. It was weird. Any adjective you can come up with. And it helped. What's great about it is it happened with Donnie. So you definitely have feelings from the crowd one way or the other. There's no middle ground on it. I had a call last night with somebody and they thought the rule was stupid. And they have a point to a degree because they said Donnie didn't go to the scales either. So, but I'm not in that camp, but there's a lot of different feelings about it simply because it's Donnie's shots, which is good for the sport.
Did he seem like sheepish about it at all? What do you think his reaction to it was?
No, he just said, look, it's the elephant in the room. He said it in the press conference and that was it. I mean, he addressed it. One thing about Donnie's shots, I know people don't like him for whatever reason. He is one of my favorite interviews in racing because he will address anything you ask him. He's not afraid of it. So he embraced it right away. It was the first question in the press conference last night by Mike Mallett. And Donnie doesn't shy away from stuff. When you're winning this race 11 times and you're 10-time World of Outlaw champion, you pretty much are bigger than any question.
What give me your kind of sense of surprises this week. Obviously gravel seems to be like the biggest one, but how do you feel about guys that are in, guys that are out that surprise you?
Well, obviously gravel is the biggest. Buddy Kofoid does not look good. And he's made the A main before. I did not have Brady Bacon making it in. So, just kind of on the flip side of that, but I had him in my pool, which is good. But I think gravel's the biggest. Buddy Kofoid really surprised me. Aaron Reitzel is another one. He's been good at Knoxville most of the year, 360 or 410. That heat race, so critical. And when you don't get through it, last night, I don't know what happened. He finished his heat race, but he was nowhere near the car after that. You read between the lines. No, I don't think he got fired. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just, if you don't get through that heat race, it's tough. Aaron Reitzel's not making the Nationals this year. I wouldn't have had that. I thought he'd get in somewhere. But those are the big ones for me. And I think Buddy Kofoid's, again, got a long road to go try and get in this thing.
Do you think gravel can win this thing from the B?
If anybody can, it's him. I think, I don't think Donnie can come through, even though he's done it before. I get that. Gravel has gotten near the front as well last year, in fact. So he can. It's unlikely. It's unlikely because Rico's better. I think Gio Scelzi is the sleeper here. I know people, it's kind of chic and hip to say Gio now because, he looked good at the Cappy, so on and so forth. I think Gio's ready to win it. He was nervous in 2021 when he sat in the pole, dropped back to fourth. Last year, he ran a different race, and we talked about this in a post-race interview. He was controlling his race last year and finished fourth. He drove to fourth. I think he's ready to take that next step. Now, I'm not saying he's going to beat Kyle, but I think he is he's the second contender for me, or the number one contender to go after Kyle, even more than Darren Pittman or Rico Abreu. And Rico looks really good as well. And of course he has Ricky Warner and has a shot. So my top three are definitely Larson, Scelzi, Rico, and then maybe Pittman after that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you specifically about Rico just because, and I was shocked this week to see that Rico's never finished top 5 in a Knoxville Nationals. Nope. And I was curious what you thought his chances were going to be tonight.
I like that he is more focused on this race. They've circled this since the beginning of the year. And look, credit to High Limit. I know now I'll get called a high limit homer because you're wearing a World of Owls hat. You're a, but now I'm not shilling for High Limit, but High Limit did a great job with the schedule, giving people off the weekend before the Knoxville Nationals. Jacob Allen talked about it. Having to race the Ironman, it's a pain in the ass. It's, so Rico has the schedule fits him. He's been to Knoxville multiple times. I see a different focus with Rico coming into this year's Nationals. He really appreciates the team he has. He talks about it all the time. I don't think that's lip service. I don't think Rico's a lip service guy and just says the right thing. I think Rico is really content with where he's at, with the team he has, and it shows in the performance on the track. He was fast at the cap. I mean, there was nobody in his league at the Cappy. Gio, I think, was good. Got faster for Wednesday night, obviously, but Rico was still good on Thursday. I just think Kyle's better in race conditions. So, but Rico has a good shot. Him and Gio are right there. They're going to be the number one contenders for Kyle Larson.
I did my I think it was my Tuesday Daily Show about Larson's car and the header pipes. Has that been a topic of conversation at all this week at the racetrack?
Not really. The conspiracy theorists, which we have plenty of them. I think the bigger thing has been the format, obviously. Mm-hmm. But no, I don't. It hasn't been a big deal. I haven't heard a lot about it in the pit area at all. And really, from a fan's perspective, it's minimal. They just like the Kyle Larson's up front.
Yeah. There are other stories kind of happening around Knoxville. Obviously, we saw Cole Macedo, announce his new ride. I know you were in on that. What are your thoughts on that for next year?
I think Cole Macedo is the most improved driver in the country this year. I think he's earned that ride. I mean, you and I have talked numerous times. I'd say aggressive coming out of California is the way to term it. He got in some crashes. He admitted it himself in the story I wrote. He bent up a lot of stuff, made some people mad. But this year, it's been about finishing races. He's really added to the Honest Abe team that Kevin Newton owns, and he's put together some really good runs in series races. I think he's earned this ride. I'm anxious to see him out there full time just to see how he develops, because in 1 year, he's come pretty far, and I'm anxious to see where he goes from here.
I feel like it's interesting to kind of watch, we've had multiple drivers now come from California through Ohio to the Outlaws, and obviously the Linders are involved there as well. And it's an interesting kind of pipeline that they've kind of built there, I think.
Yeah, and I think the best young drivers come from California. I think it's no doubt. I mean, look at the podiums this week. So if I'm the Linders, of course I'm going to go there. Plus, I think, too, when you get one, it just starts that pipeline. And I wonder who the next one is going to be. Is it going to be Dominic Gordon? Dominic Gordon looks really good. I like what I see there and how he's progressed. Or is it going to be somebody else that we haven't heard of yet? But the Macedos, Buddy Kofoid, Caleb Henry, not with the Linders, but he's made his way to Ohio now. Gio, who ended up with Bernie. I mean, just the number of guys who've come out of there who are your top guys in the sport now, it's alarming. I haven't seen it in the 40-some years that I've been watching sprint car racing.
What other stories do you think are big this week? What other things have you been kind of following?
Well, I've been following the format. Obviously, people are complaining about it. Quite honestly, for me, it's leave it alone. It's fine the way it is. I think, gambling. Where are we at on this gambling thing with USAC? I'd love to know with USAC, and obviously they're not here, but where are the Outlaws on this? Is High Limit investigating this? I think gambling is the way to go. I think it makes sports bigger. Just ask the NFL or anybody else. So I think that's a big story. I think, Johnny Gibson made the comment a while ago about 5 rookies being with the Outlaws next year. I've been checking around. I don't know if that's the number. but it'll be interesting there to see who takes that leap. I mean, obviously Cole Macedo is one of them. So who are the other four guys? And then the other thing, Emerson Axum, where's he go? Because he's made the Kings Royal, finished sixth. Now he's qualified for the Knoxville Nationals. Rookie of the year for the Nationals is done. Rookie of the year for sprint car racing should be over. Where does he go next year? And he's just, his demeanor is another story altogether, which I find interesting. But those are kind of the things that I'm following coming out of the Knoxville Nationals, and also High Limit going to the West Coast.
I'm curious too what you think about, like, we've talked a little bit about kind of some of the silly season stuff, and there are a few kind of things rumbling out there.
Yep.
When do you think this really takes off? Like, do you think we're going to wait till the end of the season? Do you think things will happen before then?
It's going to happen before the end of the season. It has to. We cannot. And I think owners, if they're thinking to wait till the end of the season, they're going to miss out. I think we'll start seeing stuff in September. It's late this year. Either that or last year and the year before were an anomaly. We'll see. But I think it ramps up in September. Usually, I've heard rumblings this week of some things, and I think they'll morph into kind of, it's going to be a little more solid moving into September, that we're going to see a couple ride changes. I don't think it's going to be a lot. I don't think they're going to be like sexy ones where you're having like David Gravel leaving or something like that. And then the other thing is too, I think where the offseason comes into play, who goes where, who runs where with the series. I think September, October, we'll see the movement. And then after that, we'll see the movement of what series guys are going to run.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time. Run me through, give me the sales pitch, sprintcarunlimited.com. Talk to me about the coupon code. Like, give me all the things, the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's been a good week, and I want to thank you for allowing me to sponsor your show for 3 days. That's helped tremendously. Check out sprintcarunlimited.com. We have full coverage of the Knoxville Nationals, sprint car racing all year long. Yes, even in the off season. Breaking news, weekly podcast with Ryan Hand. He's an interesting guy. He's great to have on the show. It's $35 normally, but through the Knoxville Nationals, and I'll probably extend it through the next week. You can use the coupon code SCUMOM 2024 and get it for $28. It's a 20% discount. We'll have YouTube content again from tonight. And then Monday we'll start the 90 at 9 again. Thursday night we have the deep dive, which is usually about an hour with somebody in the sport, kind of a deep dive into their career and what's going on with them. So just a lot of content the rest of the year and probably in the next as well.
I love it. Well, enjoy the Nationals tonight, Jeremy. We will talk soon.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, sir. All right. Jeremy Elliott, ladies and gentlemen. I dropped something. Hang on one second. All righty. So you guys don't like the music, so I turned the music off. I always try, I try to put a little music on, little mood vibes, and then everybody gets mad at me because I have music on. I posted the time lapse of the Zach Hampton sprint car build, and the very first comment was, well, I don't like the music. You guys kill me. All right, let's see if we can get another guest on here. Sending more messages for another guest. But yeah, Jeremy doing great stuff. Make sure to go check out Jeremy's website and the YouTube channel. Lots of content coming out of Knoxville this week. To go see where's my next guest starting tonight. All right, so I can see where my next guest is starting tonight. Just sent the link, so hopefully he'll pop in here soon. I did shut the music off. Yes, I shut it off, since you guys are mad at me because I have music on. The music has disappeared. Hope you guys are happy. Oh, while we're waiting for next guest, hit the like button. Give me that thumbs up. Subscribe. Oh, next guest is here. We'll just dump him in right now. Ayrton Gennetten. What's up, dude?
I'm just sitting over here in turn 3, waiting to get in the infield and see how we end up tonight.
Nice. In a C main tonight. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, like, I've had a pretty rough go at the Nationals the last 3 years. So, like, we've always been in the C, which kind of sucks. But I feel like this is actually probably the most comfortable I've felt here all year. And then I feel like we actually got a lot of speed from last night in the feature. So I think we got a good shot of getting out of it and trying to dig our hole out of the B main. And, you know, obviously if you start in the back of the B, it's hard to get out. But I think we could, you know, make a charge and try and get to the top 15 and just see where we end up.
I actually have talked to a few guys already this morning. The track seems to be a topic of discussion all week. How have you felt about track conditions?
I feel like we were here with USAC in early June, and we couldn't even get out of the B main with a local show. And then like Outlaw weekend, we were in the C both nights and struggled there too. So it's definitely been trickier to say the least. I don't know if I would necessarily say it's definitely different for sure. And I mean, I think our tires are different, the track's different, and it's just making different racing. And then, you know, obviously there's times like the bottom this week's been really, really good. And it stayed moist longer than, you know, most times you've been here. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely tricky. I'm not going to not say that. So hopefully we can, you know, figure it out and just keep going from there and try and get out of the C main.
The format seems to be another thing that's come up a lot in the, you know, the 8-car inverts and the heat. How do you feel about, you know, about the format? And we lost Ayrton. He gone. Hopefully we can get Ayrton back at some point here shortly. He's back. Hold, please. You're back.
Yeah, I think if I scoot outside my trailer a little bit, I should be able to get some better.
No, you're good.
Internet here. I don't know. It's miserable over here in turn 3. We don't got a lot of service.
What I was asking about the format. How do you feel about the 8-car inverts? I know that's been a topic this week.
You know, I don't really think the format needs adjusting. I listened to your and Jeremy talk, and like I kind of agree with him. Like it is the toughest race of the year, so it should be tough. Obviously, like anytime you go racing, you need a little bit of luck, and this race here requires a little more luck than most. But you know, the cream will always rise to the top. Like they say, 8-car invert too much, but Darren Pittman proved it's not. So, you know, if your stuff's right and you guys are firing all cylinders, it's not that bad. So, I haven't been on that back half of the invert yet to be in the 4th row, so I haven't had any complaints. But no, I think it's fine. You know, it's the toughest race of the year. It should be the toughest format, in my opinion.
For sure. What kind of result tonight will you be happy with? You know, do you have a goal? Do you have expectations? Like, how do you come at it tonight and feel good about how it went?
I really think if we can just get out of the C main, I really want to win the C main, but if we can just get out of the C main and go forward in the B and just, you know, progress on our speed from last night, I think I'll be happy with that.
Tell me about your season too. You've got a couple Power Eye wins. It seems like you guys have had a lot of speed, a lot of places. You had, you know, a couple of good runs, you know, against the Outlaws at Peevely, and you know, just what's your season been like as a whole? You feel like?
Yeah, so this year was actually, this is the second year I've kind of done my own deal, setting it up, and you know, this year it's fully our own team. We don't have any partnerships, nobody else on board, so it's just us. So it's been difficult in times. You know, there's times we'll go somewhere and we'll really struggle, but I feel like as far as my driving side, I feel like I've been not the best, but I've definitely picked up my pace to where I used to be in 2021. And you know, like we got 2 top 10s with the Outlaws. We made some dashes. We've got a top 10 with High Limit and a Hard Charger there. And so I definitely feel like our speed's better than it has been the last 2 years. So I'm happy with that. And then, you know, with the Power Eye deal, we're leading points there. We got 2 wins. And, you know, we ran good with the Maverick guys. We ran good to Emerson Axon that one night over at Lincoln Park. That was a fun race. Wish I would have won that one. But we've had a really good year, and you know, I think if we can just get in the B main tonight and charge forward, it'll just, you know, cap off the first half of our season, and the second half is still yet to be determined. So hopefully we can grab a few more wins. And, I don't think we're racing any outlaw or high limit stuff till later in the year. So hopefully we can build some confidence and try and get some more top 10s with them.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. What do your plans look like for the rest of the season?
Yeah, we got a lot of Power Eye stuff coming up here soon. So we'll be doing a lot of Power Eye and then, just picking and choosing. I think we'll definitely be at the I-70 and Lucasville high limit stuff. And then, just kind of see whatever fits the bill and whatever makes the most sense for us to race and have fun and try to win some races.
What do you think about tonight? Who wins this thing?
I mean, if you're not allowing anyone to pick from the front row, it would definitely be probably Tyler Courtney. I think Courtney's been really good this year. Obviously you're going to pick Larson. How can you not pick Larson on the pole? Rico's been really good too, but outside Larson, I would definitely say Rico or Courtney to give him a run for the money. But yeah, it's just going to be tough to beat the 57.
Do you think, and I kind of asked everybody this, do you think like somebody like Gravel can drive through this thing and win it even from the B?
I know Gravel last year came out of Hard Knocks night and drove it up to second. So, if his car is good, yeah. But I even think for him to get out of the B main, he's gonna need to be really good just to get out of the B. Having Peck and Sweet on the front row, you can almost guarantee those two guys are gonna be able to get out of there and transfer. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Gravel, if he can get out, he can probably charge forward. Obviously you can't count on Donnie Schatz. Maybe there's a few other guys that are already locked in that could surprise you and get up there and run on the podium. But I definitely think it'll be hard to beat the 57. But, if anyone can come from the back, I would definitely say Schatz and Gravel can do it.
For sure. How's your car been? Have you had to make a lot of changes all week, or did you guys come in with a pretty good package?
We actually tried some stuff on our qualifying night. We played around with wing positioning and a little bit of our setup stuff, and it just wasn't very good. So it kind of hurt us early in the night then. And then, we came into last night kind of where we ended on Thursday, and we were good there. And we just kept adjusting every time we hit the track. And we've gotten good, but we didn't really start off that good. Like our qualifying has been really, really, really scarce right now on the big track stuff. So to make the invert last night was really a big positive for us because the track never really fell off towards the back half of the group like, you would want with a good draw. So to make the invert was huge, and that obviously put us in position to get in the feature.
I wanted to ask you as well about the the situation this season with the wing stuff, the wicker bills, and all of that. Like, has that affected racing as much as people have kind of talked about it has? Do you think that's a big deal? Do you think it's not a big deal?
I feel like there's times people, like, it does affect some stuff, but I also think it's one of them deals where it's a mindset thing too. Like, we race with series where we can run 2-inch wicker bills. We race with series where we can't. And, I don't think it's as big of a deal as some people make it out to be. I do think it does play a little bit of a factor, but the wicker bill deal isn't as big as people make it out to be since we're all in the same deal, And then the wing positioning stuff, people move their wing to the right or move their wing to the left and, move their board locations. Like, that's got, I feel like, more of a factor than the wicker bills do, So it's all about what your team can, do with, like, your setup stuff too. So, like, I feel like for me, the 1-inch wicker bill has actually been a helpful thing for me because I usually get my stuff so tight I don't need a 2-inch wicker bill. So I actually enjoy not, having a wheel stand every corner. So I actually like it too. Plus, it makes it a lot easier. You don't got to carry a bunch of extra stuff around and make changes. You just leave it and you just race.
Last question. Is it weird going into a night like tonight where you have no heat races, no qualifying, you get a hot lap session and you go racing?
Like, yes and no. Like I've ran the Tulsa Shootout and stuff like that before. So, like, in those races, you don't even get hot laps. So, you get used to not having anything and you just get used to just racing. So, it's a little bit different mindset. Not really having a big hot lap session where you get a lot of, and then qualifying in a heat race. So, you just kind of dot your I's and cross your T's before you ever get out there and make sure you're ready to go. And, And quite frankly, honestly, like all we did was wipe our car down. Like I got the same tires on, everything's the exact same from last night. It makes it easier that way because we're just racing now. You know, no one's worried about building speed to qualify. So, yeah, it's a little different. That's also the cool part about the Nationals. You got to start off right off your game. You know, you don't really get time to watch the track change a lot, and it's going to change quick because they're not going to do as much prep as they have for the other nights. So, I think it's definitely it's beneficial to some, not to others, but I think it makes it exciting for the drivers and the teams.
Hell yeah. Well, Ayrton Gennetten, I thank you for the time today. Good luck tonight, dude.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. All righty. Ayrton Gennetten, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and thanks to all of the guests who have taken a few minutes to stop by and chat with us. Should we do like a little Q&A in the chat? Do you guys have questions, things you want to talk about? Let's see here. What do you guys got going on in the chat ski? Todd thinks Pittman is going to shock everybody tonight. That would certainly be fairly epic if that ended up being the case. It would be pretty cool to see him win this thing for the first time, you know, after he's effectively retired. Tristan wants to know why I'm not at the Nationals, because I was finishing up a grad school term this week. So had some project stuff to do, some final class work. So the Nationals were not going to be in the cards. Al wants to know about Larson using used tires. This is very common for Paul Silva. This idea that Larson has more money in his car than other people and that he just has the best of everything just is flat not true. Larson actually posted a video on his social media this week showing Paul Silva dumpster diving for what I believe was a wing tree. And that's just how Paul rolls, man. Like he's going to do things his way. He's, you know, not going to spend money where he doesn't need to spend money. And sometimes that means using used tires. There's lots of stories of, you know, Larson being on used tires and beating the crap out of everybody. And, you know, if that works for him, then that's great. Right. And I wish people would give Larson a fair shake when they spoke about it, because it's just not true that he just has everything, you know, better than everybody else. Dan wants me to say hi to his cousin Greg in the North Campground. So hopefully if Greg is watching, hi, Greg. Hope you're having fun in the North Campground. This Greg wants to know if I have a dark horse for tonight. I don't really. The Knoxville Nationals is not really a dark horse type event. You have to have, you know, a lot of car speed and, you know, really good engines and things trimmed out to be able to have success here. And it's why you see, you know, the top guys win this race every year. And I don't think this year is going to be any different. I think even if you're not in the front couple of rows, I think you're going to have a difficult chance to really have a shot to win this race tonight. Yeah, this is how I feel. Like you don't see it often. It's just not with this event. It's not built that way. It's just going to be really, really difficult here. Another Greg wants to know what I'm doing in grad school. I'm studying data science, which if you know about dirttracker.com in the analytics sections should make at least some sense. We talked about Sammy's coilover car this week that Sean Wood and Flea Ruzick built. If you missed that daily show, go check that out. That was from Thursday. I don't know that it looked much different than the other stuff. Obviously, I'm not there, so I can't say that I've seen the car super up close. It's the little bit that we've seen, through Dirt Vision. But bringing a one-off car to the Knoxville Nationals was always going to be a challenge, which they knew. They're smart guys. They know that was going to be difficult. So we'll see if it's something that makes more appearances. My favorite thing, like when I talk about the tech stuff, and you saw it with the Larson video talking about the exhaust pipes. It was the coilover cars. Is I talk about these things and people come on and say, well, that's not new. That's been going on for years. And it's like, well, I didn't say it was new, but there is not a single other coilover car in the pits right now at the Knoxville Nationals. There's one. I think that's interesting. That car was custom built for that. The exhaust pipe thing on Larson's car with the tips of the header pipes are tipped up, with, at Peevely, they didn't have mufflers on it. Obviously at Knoxville, they do have mufflers on it. But that's interesting to me. And I know it's not the first time a sprint car has ever had tipped up, exhaust pipe, tips on it. It's like, it's not the first time. I understand that fully. But again, walk around the Knoxville pit area right now, or the sprint car pit areas, and let me know how many cars have that. Like, that's an interesting story. And if you think it's not an interesting story, go look at how many views those videos got, because they got a ton of views, because that's interesting. It's different. They're not things that we're seeing right now. And it's like, is that the reason Larson is having success at the moment? I don't know. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But it certainly looks strange. It's a certain coincidence that Larson shows up with these exhaust pipes, and all of a sudden he's won 3 straight races at this point, or 4 straight races at this point. So if it's not helping, it's certainly an interesting coincidence. Ryan says, if anyone wants to come to the field from deep or out of the B main, don't you think they have to have a great first 25 laps or so before the ride? That's absolutely true. I also think that there probably has to be a caution or two, because they're going to get spread out pretty quickly. So obviously those restarts are opportunities to jump guys and move up rows. So I definitely think you'll probably have to have a little bit of help if you're going to do that. If this thing goes green, I think it's going to be really, really tough. Bill wants to know why I haven't talked about the North-South 100. We could talk about the North-South 100 for sure. Jonathan Davenport, a couple of prelim night wins. Bobby Pierce won the other prelim feature last night. They're racing for $75,000 tonight. And Ricky Thornton Jr. was the other prelim night winner the other night. So, obviously cream rising to the top, as you might expect. Should be an interesting show tonight for sure. You watch Davenport win both of his prelims off the front row. Pierce came from second. He had a nice little battle there with Moran. RTJ also from the pole, even though Hoffman led some laps in that one. But yeah, it'll be interesting tonight. $75,000. It's kind of wild. We get such a focus on the Knoxville Nationals this week that you have a 75,000 win late model race. It almost feels like it gets drowned out a little bit. Ryan also wants to know about Larson's timeline to make the feature tonight. I don't know what the Richmond schedule is today. Let's go look at that right now. Let's see here. The NASCAR stuff isn't something I do a great job anymore keeping up on. Here we go, weekend schedule. All right, so Cup Series has practice from 4:30 to 5 or 5:15, and then they will qualify from 5:35 to 6:30. So, Larson, I don't know which group he's in. I don't know if they've posted that. If Larson's in the first, well, I guess it wouldn't matter because he's going to have to, if he's fast, he'll have to stick around to the end anyway. You would think, I mean, the airport at Richmond is not that far from the racetrack. You're looking at maybe a 15 or 20-minute drive, but Larson, I would imagine, could potentially have a helicopter waiting for him after that to just ferry him over to the Richmond airport, to the Richmond Jet Center. And then he'll certainly be in the air. I don't see any reason why, especially picking up an hour, why he wouldn't be there in time. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen at Knoxville tonight. Once you talk about hot lap groups for everybody and, you're all the way down to an E-main and there's a lot of stuff that they got to get through. I don't see any reason why Larson should have any real issues getting there in time. Let's see. I don't know if they actually have an actual daily schedule. Yeah, let me go look at the Knoxville Twitter account. Larson doesn't pick up 2 hours. He picks up 1 hour. It's a 1 hour time difference from the Eastern time zone to the Central time zone. Let's see. Have they posted a daily schedule? Off-track events. Here we go. Yeah, so I mean, like, opening ceremonies are at 8. I mean, A-main hot laps aren't until after the C-main, so there's plenty of time there for that stuff to get done, I think. Let's see. Josh wants to know if I think Carson Macedo can win, and if he does that make Phillip one of the best crew chiefs of all time? I definitely think Macedo has a shot, and I am fairly vocal about the idea that I think that Phillip Dietz is one of the most underrated crew chiefs out there. To win some of the races he's won, and to have guys in championship contention the way he has. I mean, Macedo's starting row 2 here. There's definitely a chance that he could win that race, and him winning the Knoxville Nationals with 3 different drivers would be pretty wild. Yeah. So apparently Larson is going to drive from Des Moines. That Des Moines drive isn't that bad either. So I'm sure he'll be fine tonight. Tanner, I believe, is in a B. Yeah, Tanner is 16th in a B. So it's not impossible, right, for him to drive through that field, but you got to get into the top 4, and that's a B main that includes Brad Sweet, Justin Peck, Eliason, McFadden, David Gravel, Garrett Williamson. I mean, there's some guys, Cole Macedo, Baston, Caleb Johnson's in that one. There's some guys with some pretty serious speed in that one. Tanner's definitely going to have to be on the wheel if that's going to happen. Yeah, Larson will not be. That's not a commercial flight. Larson will absolutely be in a private jet from Richmond to Des Moines for sure. So I believe the drivers' meeting should be here in about a little less than an hour. I think they said the drivers' meeting's at 3:00 Central Time. What other questions do you guys got? I think we'll maybe stay here live here for another few minutes. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to everything. If you're interested as well, we also have shirts. You can grab one right now over at shop.dirttracker.com. Sprint car shirts are $25. We've also got stickers. We've got Daily Show stickers that look like that. And then we've got the nice big circle stickers. So you can grab one of those. Shop.dirttracker.com right now. If you guys are playing pools, you're making last minute picks for tonight, remember that dirttracker.com/analytics has a ton of stuff. There is a paid element with Dirt Tracker Plus, but there's a lot of stuff available for free as well. So if I can help you do any of that, we've got Knoxville Nationals results in the database back to 2017. And then we've got all of the prelim night stuff, and Hard Knocks is there already. So plenty of time to, or plenty of results to look through if you're trying to make those last minute picks. I don't believe there's a penalty for missing the driver's meeting. They'll probably, they'll send a crew guy, like they'll have a representative there. But obviously they will know in advance that Larson's not going to be there, and they're certainly not going to put him at the back of the feature because he missed the driver's meeting. They talk about the same things in every single driver's meeting. The only updates on McKenna Hassey have been the ones posted to social media from her mom, where she's still in the hospital. I think people are talking about she has a collapsed lung. She's definitely going to have a tough road ahead for sure. That was about as nasty of a crash as you're gonna see. Does this mean, do I think the tires are going to be an issue tonight? Is that what you mean? I'm confused. By the way, the Corey Day stuff is ramping up. I've been told some more details about his stock car future, so stay tuned for that stuff. A lot more pavement racing to come here towards the end of the season for Corey Day. Roth not happy with the B main lineup. They think J-Mac should be bumped up a row. What is the reasoning behind that? I have no idea what Larson's chances to race with high limit on the West Coast will be. I think a lot of those high limit shows are weekend races. So, with the Cup schedule ramping back up again now that they're out of this Olympic break, it's going to be pretty difficult, for him to participate in any of that stuff. And that, they're not anywhere near the West Coast with the Cup races. After this week, you got Michigan, Daytona, Darlington, and then you're into the playoffs. And I can't see Larson running a ton of sprint car stuff while he's alive in the playoffs. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate the kind words, man. Yeah, so I don't know that tires will really be an issue tonight. We haven't really seen that many tire issues all week outside of, when there's been contact. And, with the ability to, to have that halfway break, I don't really see tires being a problem. We haven't, it hasn't been excessive tire wear this week, and it's pretty cool. So I don't see tires being an issue tonight. What happened to Reitzel last night? He just missed the transfer, and then they just decided not to run the B. It sounds like maybe there's some rumors at the racetrack, but we obviously haven't heard anything. But if you're not making those transfers, like, you're gonna have a really hard time, getting through. And Reitzel P4 in that heat was scheduled to start second in that B main, but you're not going to drive through, and especially, I think he's actually already. Where does Reitzel start tonight? Reitzel starts. Yeah, he starts. Why am I not seeing him? Where is Reitzel? I don't know why I'm not seeing Reitzel on the lineup. Did he just pull out completely? Dietrich. Because he was pretty high up in the points. Oh, they've got him in an E main. You might not see Reitzel at all tonight. These t-shirts are no longer available. When I do t-shirt runs, it's whatever I get made. Once it sells out, that's it. We're not going to do any restocks. So even the sprint car shirts that are available at shop.dirttracker.com right now, once they are gone forever. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much of an explanation. He just didn't go to the scales. So, yeah, they usually announce over the driver radio, who's got to go to the scales, and if you don't go, then you're out. So that puts shots in. Sean wants to know if I can give a rundown of the A main right now. All right, so Larson, Pittman, front row. Then you've got Tyler Courtney, Carson Macedo, row 2. Row 3 is Selzy, Enrico Abreu. Row 4 is Brian Brown and Anthony Macri. Row 5 is Brady Bacon and Scott Boguski. Row 6, Corey Day, Brent Marks. Row 7 is Bill Baylog and Sheldon Hunshield. Row 8 is Chase Randall and Jacob Allen. Row 9 and 10 will be your 4 B main transfers. And then the guys who got in last night from the Hard Knocks program, they're the last 2 rows, 11 and 12. You got Donnie Schatz and Logan Schuhart on row 11, and Justin Henderson and Emerson Axum bringing up the rear. So 50 laps, $190,000 to win tonight. The pay breakdown for tonight's race is very good. It's one of the reasons why you see so many cars at the Knoxville Nationals every year. But the main event tonight pays $15,000 just to start. $190,000 to win, $85,000 for second, $45,000 for third. It pays $15,000 to start, goes up by I think $250 per position for a few. Then it jumps $500 per position. So if you make the main event tonight, you're going to make a significant amount of money. Like we said earlier, Tanner is in a B. Yeah, if you want to listen to the Knoxville Nationals, this is a great way to do it. Obviously, a free way to tune in. If you don't have Dirt Vision and are not headed to the racetrack, you can definitely check out the radio broadcast. All right, friends, we'll get those last couple of questions in. We're going to shut it down here in a minute. Hope you guys enjoyed having some guests on. If you are just getting on, jump back. Once this ends, you'll be able to go back and check out the earlier stuff. But we had Chase Rodman from High Limit on. We had Jeremy Elliott on from Sprint Car Unlimited. We had Kelby Watt, Ayrton Gennetten, and Zach Hampton on. So a bunch of different perspectives. Guys kind of starting all over the place tonight, different weeks. So definitely check that out if you didn't get a chance to watch the whole stream. It'll be available on the YouTube channel. It'll be available on the Facebook page. So definitely go back and check that out. Is there one person that I want to see win tonight? That's not like, I'm not really, rooting for anybody specifically. I'm more just want to see a good, safe race night. Maybe we'll get a little luck and have a little bit of, maybe we'll get an alphabet run or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. But other than that, I just want to see a good race. My pick for the North-South, let's go RTJ. Let's say he gets his first big score with Kohler. It'd be pretty cool to see him and Chris Madden in victory lane. Well, all right, friends. Thanks everybody for hopping in with us. We've been live for almost 2 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed the guests. We'll try to do this again sometime. And again, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate all the guests who joined us. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the Facebook page, grab some merch at shop.dirttracker.com. You can check out the daily show 5 days a week. We do Sunday through Thursday, podcast places, all of that stuff. Enjoy the Knoxville Nationals tonight. Enjoy the North-South 100 at Florence. And we will see everybody tomorrow for a fresh daily show. Bye.